In this video, I share with you the Kraken Studios Space Battlegrounds. But before we get into today's video, just want to give a shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for the support that you give me. You make this channel what it is, and I appreciate you all so much. This past weekend, Bob the Beholder did pick some Patreon supporters to receive the GGGG. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this past month of May of 2022, the printed and painted Grimness Bridge goes to Michael H. Bard Song Legendary Pledge goes to Michael M. The Pro Acryl Base Set goes to Simon C. Wonderland War goes to Bill C. 3 people who are receiving the Fast Terrain All-In pledges are Giovanni S., Dominique K., and Scott L. The $100 going towards the Grexdale Kickstarter campaign is going to John D. And finally, last minute, we have actually 3 Kraken Space Battleground all-in pledges. That was also given away to Dragonwall Chronicles, Astrocat, and Ray K. We're still putting together the list of gratitude gifts for this month, June of 2022. So go ahead and use the link below to go to my Patreon page and find out all of the details there. I've done a number of videos for Kraken Studios in the past, starting off with this Blitz Bowl set, which I think is an awesome field. And also more recently, I did a video regarding this Witch Tower. If you want to check that out, go ahead and click here. And one of the things that I really like about Kraken Studios is that they are very stylized, and I really like how whimsical and cool all of their buildings and miniatures are, and adds a ton to the games that I like to play. Now, I didn't receive the files in time to do a full build out for their most recent Kickstarter, and it ends in only a few days. So make sure to use the link below to go to their Kickstarter page if you want to get in on it. But fret not, there will be late pledges available after the campaign, and we're going to actually do even more giveaways later on once I'm able to print out more pieces. The only piece that I was able to print out in time for this video is just this small building. And again, I'm not disappointed because it just looks so fun, so whimsical. I love how stylized it is. It isn't just straight walls, but is highly detailed with a bunch of greeblies on there. Now, one of the things about all of their files is they are optimized to be used on a resin printer, not necessarily an FDM printer. So I do typically have to put in a lot of supports so that they print out correctly. So for example, even this lid, initially I printed it out not knowing that it needed supports, and so I had to reprint it because there's a lip around the edge right here that prevents really some clean printing. So as long as you know that you need to provide supports in certain areas, you're going to be fine printing these out on your FDM printer, even though they are intended or originally designed for a resin printer. And as you can see, I'm printing at 0.2 millimeter height, and I think that is a good amount of detail for terrain, and I go ahead and just paint with craft paints. Once I do come out with my full video, I will show you a little bit more how I painted these, pretty much using a technique that I've used in the past, and it makes painting up terrain really fast and quick. But most of this video is really just going through the Kickstarter campaign so that you know what options are available, so that you can jump in case you want to have these files before the Kickstarter ends in less than a week. So let's go ahead and jump over to the computer and I can walk you through it. So here's the Kickstarter page, and by the time I post this video, there will only be 4 days left. This does end on Saturday, June 4th. So make sure to use the link below to go to this Kickstarter page if you want to get in on this before it ends. Again, there will be a late pledge available. So if you miss this, don't worry about it, but it might be a little bit more discounted if you grab it now. They have raised $27,000, so obviously a successful campaign. So let's go ahead and scroll through. First of all, pretty much you have a couple of options. You have the Moonwalker Pledge, which is just the miniatures. That's $27 US. You have the Space Explorer, which is just the terrain, a little bit more expensive at $38 US. And then you have the Space Veteran set, which is both, but the reason why it's so cheap is it does not include the Mechanical Battleground core set, which is included in the all-terrain version. Now, if you do want to include the mechanical battleground, then go ahead and jump up to the Space Commander pledge, which is only $11 more at $49. So this is your best bang for your buck to pay about $50 in order to get pretty much everything. And then here's the merchant tier. So pretty much check it out. You're getting a wide variety because here's the Forest Planetary set. And this is the Rocky Planet set, I think. Or here, and it looks like a moon crater. Provides a good variety onto the tiles. And here are the miniatures, and you can use these for 5 parsecs from home or for Stargrave. They look like you get some aliens, you get a robot, a couple of other pieces that can really make them individual characters. You also get the spaceship, which I'm super excited about. I'm definitely going to be printing this out because I just love printing out some spaceships. You get a crew. One other thing I want to shout out here is that they are pre-supported, which I am really grateful about. Now, even pre-supported miniatures, I typically go through and add more supports because I definitely would rather have to take off more supports than have a failed print. And here it just goes into more detail with all of the different characters that are available. Just love this chain gun. That looks really awesome. And the way their hair is flying around everywhere, it makes it look like they're a ragtag group of smugglers or something like that. So that's really fun. Here are some examples of what the miniatures look like painted. And they always do a great job with their paint schemes. And then here are the bad guys. And if they remind you of the bad guys from a certain Bruce Willis movie, that is purely coincidental, I'm sure. But if you just need another faction to battle it out with, again, with Stargrave or 5 parsecs, this is a good option as well. And a bunch of NPCs that are available too. So you're getting a bunch of different files that you're going to be able to use, which is fantastic. And use the link below to go to Kraken's page because they have a ton of other options there available, not only for sci-fi, but also for fantasy. Here is a free file if you want to download and print it out just to see what they look like. Again, we have this Ladybug spaceship, and I think I did hear that you can, if you have clear resin, you can print out the glass for the cockpit. Here you have some seated pilots, which look really cool. And then this is the mechanical background. So we're going into now the terrain. And this really, if you want to build out a metal sort of industrial battleground, this is the option to go. And one of the unique characteristics for Kraken Studios is that they print all of their floor tiles vertically like this. And this is why I get a ton of details, even though I'm not printing on the resin printer, because the Z-axis this way, you get a lot more details than if you were to print them flat. So there is a lot of good tutorials that Kraken Studios provides in how to set up your prints so that they're optimized to be printed standing up and down vertically. And I've been super happy with using that method for both the dungeon tile set that I used for League of Dungeoneers or my Blitz Bowl set as well. Here's some scatter terrain that you're going to receive with this set. So that looks super cool that you can use. Thing I'm really excited about though, interestingly enough, is the outdoor terrain. So this is the Forest Planet set, and it comes up with these modular trees that you, I mean, this is super tall. Probably accurate for like redwood trees or something like that, but probably impractical to actually make your trees this tall for the battle board. But you can pick and choose however tall you want it to be. And I think they just added flocking at the top to create the leaves. So you are just printing out these branches. Here's a piece that I printed out. This is one of the smaller buildings. And it does come on a base like this. But I always print mine off in case I want to be able to just use it on a battle map or something like that. So I'm not committed to using these floor tiles. This is the larger piece with the silo that's next to it as well. I'm definitely going to be printing out those pieces too. And they're providing a bunch of plants. I would not attempt to print these on my FDM printer, but would definitely use a resin printer for some of these more exotic alien plants. But this sculpt looks really cool. You're having these cliffs with a bunch of rocks. So I think the variety that they're showing here looks really good. This is the Rocky Planet Battleground. And this isn't so much grassy fields or forests, but instead looks like the moon where you have craters, you have these rocky outcroppings. Probably easier to paint this set than the forest, to be honest. But highly detailed as well. This looks like it's 4 different pieces, then you glue it together. This looks super cool. This is a spaceship that's wrecked. And it looks like you're going to get a bunch of scatter terrain. Also, these do use the open lock clip system, which is pretty ubiquitous. So no strange clip system that you would have to use. And then here are some of the height pieces for rocky cliffs. Yeah, here it's showing you how you can take the buildings off, or in this case, the rocky outcropping. So you're not committed to having them stuck onto these floor plates. This is their studio, showing you what all of the pieces from this campaign look like. You're also going to be receiving some custom bases that will match. Again, more scatter terrain, some barricades. These look like inside rooms. This looks super cool. The trash barricades, I definitely would be printing some of these out as well because they function really well as scatter terrain on the battle map. This looks like you stick a tea light in here in order to light it up. Some objective tokens, which is great. Some pipes. These cryo tubes look really cool. And then more of these buildings. And these buildings remind me more of the style of Star Wars. So if you're playing Legion, I think these buildings would fit in super well. They're also including some droids to maybe be potential objectives on the field. Here's a fortress. This is cool. You get a river option. And I'm really hoping for a spaceship, the Spaceship Model 2 to be unlocked, because I would love to have another spaceship, which would be really cool. And that's the end of the page. So there you have it. Hopefully this video is helpful for you. Please hit that like button and subscribe. And again, use the link below to go to my Patreon page to see what the various gratitude gifts are. And hit that notification bell icon, because I will be coming up with a follow-up video after the Kickstarter is over and after I receive all of the files, because I do want to show you all of the available things, because I think it looks great and will work super well for any of your sci-fi games. But thanks for watching. Happy gaming, happy printing. We'll see you next time.